Rinpoche, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I couldn't unmute myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Tonight, maybe we have a new host, and the host is very strict, Rinpoche.
Oh, okay, that's good. Thank you. Okay. Sangye chedan tsoge chonam la chancho pardo dan kyabso che dagye chenso gibe sunam ki ndrola benjire sangye ndro bara sho san chedan tsoge chonam la chancho pardo dan kyabso che dagye chenso gibe sunam ki Chola penjire sanje chobara sho sanje chedan tsoge chonam la chancho pardo nani kyabso dagye chenso gibe sanam ki chola penjire sanje chobara sho jo Dhammae Ramae Nishe Nyende Oenge Bande Saenge Shinto Mede Me Wae Joy Gue Namae Dai Shin La Je bora jo ye dama guru rat mendala gamne yandara ya me. Okay. Okay. uh, Everything clear? The voice clear?
Yeah, I can hear you, Rinpoche.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay. Let me just clear some things here. Okay. So, as usual, please listen with the proper Mahayana motivation, Bodhisattva motivation. So that is basically to feel, to commit your action. So the next next few hours that we're going to spend, that is for the sake of achieving enlightenment, for the sake of all sentient beings. So with this motivation, please listen to this Dharma talk. Okay. Now today's topic starts on the first verse. The first verse is about contentment, contentment being contentment. So sometimes we use the term satisfaction. Maybe satisfaction is or may not be the right term, but contentment. So satisfaction is usually you have something. Anyway, so contentment is today's topic. The first verse is deals with contentment. So the thing is that when we in life, it is important to find contentment within your life. So when you have contentment, then you have peace. So whatever you have, if you have one, you just enjoy with and happy with one. If you have two, be happy with two. Let's say if you have one cup of tea, then you think about, oh, how much better would it be if I have two cup of tea, or maybe that brand or this brand. So you have one piece of cloth, you want another one. So basically, the more you keep wanting, your desire will never be quenched. The thirst, your desire, which is like a thirst, will never be quenched. So when you give into your temptation, when you give into your desire, it's like drinking salt water, ocean water, to quench your thirst. So the more you drink, the more you want, the more thirsty you become, and the more you want. And so you keep going on, and you never become. So no, even if you have 1,000 clothes, 1,000 types of tea, 1,000 types of car, whatever, You're never satisfied. You still want more, more, more like that. So therefore, contentment will make your balance, give you balance, make you calm, make you feel peace, make you fulfilled. So therefore, the contentment is the topic that is being discussed. Yeah, on the
Yeah.
first verse. So let me read the text in Tibetan first. Nonam kungin nane chosheba rabshor labar. Oh, nonam kungin nane chosheba rabshor labar lami dunbe sung. Kundu choshe zuji chokena normin dojayanda jorba la. So that's the verse on contentment. So let me read it in English. Verse number 34. Of all the great wealths, contentment is supreme. Said he who taught and guided gods and men. He who taught who taught and guided gods and men is a reference to the Buddha Shakyamuni. Buddha Shakyamuni is the guide or the teacher to both gods and men. Men meaning the not just men and women, that kind of men, but men as in human beings. So the one who is the guide and the teacher of both men, both humans and gods, is none other than the Buddha. So the Buddha said, of all the great wealths out there in the world, gold, diamond, whatever they may be, of all the wealth out there in this world, contentment is the supreme of them all. So always be content. If you know this, if you know that contentment is the supreme wealth, then even if you have no material wealth, right? True riches you will have found. So even if you have no material wealth, if you are lacking in the material wealth, you will still be very happy. You will still be very peaceful. You will still be fulfilled. So that is the taught by, said by the one who teaches both men and gods, meaning the Buddha. There's a saying in Tibetan that all the wealth in the world is knocking at the door of the one who is content. And the person who is greedy has not recognized that, has not realized that yet. So the person who is greedy is going after more, 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 more. The person who is content says, okay, I don't need anything more, I'm enough. So the person who says, I don't need anything more, all the wealth is knocking on his door. The person who is going after all the wealth is actually chasing so basically he's literally chasing after the all the wealth. He is always chasing and he cannot catch up with all the wealth in the world. So the thing is that the main reason is because the more you have, if you don't bring contentment into your life, if you don't bring, so contentment is something that you make a closure, okay, closure in your mind. You have to make it within your own mind. Otherwise, no matter how much you have, it's never enough. You may become the richest man in the town, but you are not the richest man in the state. You may become the richest man in the state, but not in the country. Then, if you are the richest man in the country, you may not necessarily be the richest man in Asia. Or then you become the richest man in Europe, you become richest man in America. And even if you become the richest man in the world, you still don't own the whole everything in the world. There's still so much you may want. Even you become even if you become the richest person in the world, nobody can match up with your wealth. There are still so many things that you want, that there's still so many things that you desire, but you cannot get. So therefore, if you just keep chasing after the material wealth, then there is no end to it. The reason behind that is because material wealth is finite. There is a limit. Our desire, our greed, it is infinite, infinite. There is no limit. Our mind is limitless. Our desire is limitless. The resources in the world are limited. So when an unlimited measurement, unlimited tape is measuring something that is limited, then it's never enough. So therefore, one can never um, mm, the unless one brings contentment, okay, to one's life, then there's never peace in one's life. If you don't bring contentment, if you don't apply contentment at a certain time, then no matter how much you have, how many you have, how good you have, how much you achieve, it's never enough. More, 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 more like that. And there's no peace. Uh, okay. I think there is a quote from the founding father of the nation of India. India's founding father, basically Mahatma Gandhi, M.K. Gandhi, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, right? So he said something like that. There is enough wealth or resource. I forgot the exact line. So there is enough resource or wealth. There's enough wealth uh, for everybody. There is enough resource to fulfill the needs of all human beings in this world. In this world, but there is not enough resources to fulfill the want, the desire of all the beings in this world. The things that that is necessary, the things that you need, it's enough. If everybody shares, there's more than enough. But the things that you desire, not enough. Because everybody wants 10 times more, 100 times more, this and that. And so, therefore, the resources are finite and it's not sufficient. But as far as everybody's needs are concerned, the earth, the world that we live in, has more than enough to sustain everybody in this world 10 times over, 100 times over, like that. Okay, so I think it makes more sense if we read the following sentence as well. The next sentence. Tebo doma chidar dungyewa deba chungnam teda malate lucho namlang go chinyeba tele chung dungyen tinye tos. Verse number 35. Kind sir. Kind sir is referring to the king, because the king, you have to, respectfully refer to him respectfully. So, kind sir means the king. So, oh king, or your majesty, right? To own a lot brings so much misery. If you have too much, the more you have, the more suffering, the more misery you have. There is no such grief for those with few desires. If you have less, you may have materialistically, you may have hundreds of thousands, but from your heart, if you are content with the minimum, then no matter how much you have, you are no longer concerned and worried about all these things that you have. Uh, so, for example, the more the Naga lords possess of heads, uh, the more their headaches, the more they have of cares. So basically, Nagas are believed to be snake people, serpent people. Anyway, so the Nagas. I will come to the story of Nagar after this. Yeah. So the more you have, the more material things you have, the more headache it becomes for you, unless you have contentment. And the example is used for the Nagas. So the story of the Naga I will share after this. So the Nagas, so you remember the name Nagarjuna, right? Naga is the group of people, the tribe, and then Arjuna means the one who accomplishes. The one who accomplished is the Naga. So basically meaning the one who fulfills the wishes of the Nagas. Anyway, so what are Nagas? So Nagas are believed to be so one of the simplest explanation is they are called the snake people. serpentine people, serpentine beings. So Nagas is believed to have the lower body of a snake. Okay, lower body. Below the waist is snake-like, serpent-like. Above the waist is human-like. So similar to a mermaid, but then mermaids are all female, right? So the Nagas, they are male and female, and they are very powerful, very, very powerful, and extremely wealthy, very rich, amass a lot of wealth. Usually, when you become when you are stingy, one of the mm, um, one of the causes for being born in uh, um, the Naga realm or the Naga world is you are stingy, meaning you have a lot of wealth or whatever you may have, you don't share with others. You amass them. You keep hoarding more and more and more. How much you have, no matter how much you have, it's never enough for you. So you never share with people. And then if you don't have such a strong negative karma to be born in the hell realm, then you usually born in the Naga realm, and where you are powerful, you have lots of wealth, but all the time you are worried about your wealth. So you are extremely sensitive in safeguarding your wealth. Day and night, only thing that you think about is how to protect my wealth. And it is believed that, especially here, it's a reference to the Naga kings, right? The Lord of the Nagas, yeah, Naga lords, meaning the Naga kings. So the Naga kings, like all kings, they wear the crown, and on the crown, the most prominent jewel on the crown is a gemstone, like a diamond. So it's usually not referred to as a diamond, but like it's a gemstone, it's a stone, very precious. And then whatever you may desires you may have, you pray to that gemstone, it comes fulfilled. So the Nagas are always protecting the gemstone on their head, on their crown. And so some Nagas, the Naga kings are supposed to have um, seven, the Naga kings in general, supposed to have seven heads. So the more heads they have, the more crowns they have. The more crowns they have, the more gemstone, diamond they have. And the more diamonds or gemstone they have, the more insecure they feel. They are in so much grief, always concerned about who is going to steal, when it's going to be stolen, etc. like that. Yeah. Okay, that one is dealt with. Now the next one is on how to find your wife. How to find a good wife. Um, um, so what kind of wife should you be looking, what kind of qualities or character qualities you should be looking for in a wife? And then what kind of girls or wives should you be avoiding? So there are two verses. The first verse is on what to avoid, and the second verse is on what to look for. So let me read the first one. Singmut rangshin dande shema tabo da kimdam yiki jimu tabo da chungwon go chungkun tabo yi chungma subo teda number pangs. So I will read the English later, and I will explain it as I go by line. Um, so the because this is like an advice, this is a counsel, okay, by Nagarjuna to King Gautamaputra, his friend. So he basically tells him everything, how to behave in people in front of others, how to behave by yourself when you are by yourself, how to lift yourself up when you are down, and then how to bring yourself down if you feel too arrogant, and then how to look for how to amass wealth, how to fulfill the wishes of the people, and how to find a good partner. Everything is covered. So because the king The Gautamaputra is Nagarjuna's friend, but Gautamaputra is also the king of the land. So Gautamaputra, as an individual, he has his desire. He wants a beautiful wife, a good-looking wife, someone who can satisfy his desire, his loneliness, everything. But at the same time, he is the king of the land. That means he has to, I mean, as a king, he will have thousands and thousands of wives if he wants. That is how it is in the past. So, but he has to find, out of all those women, he has to find one and make her the queen, the wife. The wife of a king is a queen. So the queen of all the mistresses, of all the consorts, so like, to put it out bluntly, so of all the mistresses, of all the girlfriends that he has, the one he is going to marry, the one he is going to um, uh, appoint as his queen, should should not have the following three negative qualities. If they have that quality, for a regular person, it's not much of a big deal. But because he is the king, if the queen has those three negative qualities, a negative character, negative nature, then by affecting the king, it will also affect the kingdom. So therefore, one should be cautious when finding the right queen or the right wife in this case. So the three qualities are the three things that one should be cautious of in a wife. So the first thing is that you have to make sure that the queen is not from the enemy's side, or is affected or influenced by enemies. Sometimes, so what happens is, in the past, there are many times where the king is very powerful, right? There is no way you can win them over in a act of war. So what they do is they send spies, through the king. Sometimes the enemy king sends his own daughter, his own niece, like that. Very beautiful girl and very good looking, very good natured, everything, but with one mission, which is to bring down the king, bring down the kingdom. So first thing first. First of all, no matter how she is beautiful, all the other aesthetic qualities and are there or not doesn't matter. Always make sure that she's not from the enemy. She's not sent by the enemy. She's not a spy. So be sure about that. So that is the first thing. So the second kind of wife is, okay, I should be reading the lines. The first line, a murderess who sides with enemies. So that is the first line. And then the second line is a queen who holds her husband in contempt. So a wife that disrespects her husband. Um, so let's say she talks about, um, so how a queen disrespect a king, it's almost impossible. But the thing is, let's say the king is unable to make a baby. Then, of course, in the old times that the king has many consorts, many mistresses, and the king cannot visit all of them at one time, and so they have their own sort of side boyfriends or whatever. So basically, they keep telling others that the king cannot make baby. So basically, they try to tell whatever the secrets the king share with the wife, the queen, and the queen shares with common people, and then everybody knows about the king's secret. And so that's how the king's status, the king's aura is brought down. So that way people lose respect to the king. And that also brings the king's legitimacy and the king's aura and everything down. So therefore, always make sure that the queen is someone that respect the king, and whatever secrets the king may share, that she can keep it. Um, and not just that, many times the king may have to share state secret, like the national secret, with the queen sometimes. And when they do that, she has to be able to keep that, guard that with her own life, because you are not an ordinary wife, but the wife of a king, the queen. So such a thing. So when someone who disrespect their king or the husband, you're not talking about talking back to the king or fighting with the king, that kind of, like today's in modern time, you have regular sort of quarrel and this thing. So it is not referring to that thing. It is referring to more profound things like keeping national secrets or the family secret. So many things the king may have do. Kings do sort of so many crazy things, and they are not supposed to be shared with the public. If the public knows about this, then the king's sort of aura comes down, and then the kingdom crumbles. So therefore, queen has a lot of responsibility in keeping the secrets of the nation, secrets of the king, etc. So a queen who respect the king will not share those things. But yeah, someone who is not respect the king, who holds the king in contempt, will actually share all those things, and then will bring the nation or the country down. And a lot of time, the queen comes from a different country, because the king never marries someone from their own country, because everybody in that kingdom is lower than him. So he would usually marry the princess of another king. And then the queen shares the secret of your husband, the king, to her father. Then other nations which are not really enemies with you may also have different uh, um, ambition to take over this kingdom, etc., like that. So therefore, it's important to find a wife that really respects you, has an integrity. And the last quality is a queen who steals. So a thieving wife who steals the smallest thing. It's these three kinds of wife you must avoid. So when you are looking for a wife, no matter what other qualities they may have, make sure that they don't have these three qualities. So stealing is basically, so stealing does not necessarily have to mean like, mm, I mean, you are the queen, you have all the materials, diamond, gold, whatever you have. But here, stealing means, in today's time, we have we say something like time is money. So a lot of time, what happens is the queen, the new queen, the new mistress, whatever, is very attractive, and the king spends all his day and night uh, um, spending time with the queen, and then he neglects the um, uh, the national interest, the interest of the kingdom, and therefore you are stealing the king away from his people. Okay, so you are not necessarily stealing, does not necessarily mean you are stealing the money or this kind of thing. When you steal the king from his people, because the king is supposed to lead the kingdom, as the leader, as the one who kind of is the symbol of the nation, brings the nation to what it is, the kingdom to what it is. So therefore, when you take the king away from all the national affairs, and then make him spend time with you in the bedroom at all times, that is also you are stealing the king's time. You are stealing the king's presence, right? The king has to appear in the court, but instead he always in the bedroom. So therefore, you are stealing the king away from the courtroom. That means you are stealing the king's time. And if you look in history, so many stories are like that. Be it many great civilization, Egypt, China, India, all the great kings, they fall because of, I mean, there are many other things, many other reasons why they fall, but some of the reason was because the king are too distracted by their be bedroom life. So by that, they neglect the kingdom, and the kingdom falls down. And I will bring the relation how this is relevant in today's time also. But yeah, so in ancient time, because of such queens, such wives of such a negative characteristics, kingdoms fall down. And if a kingdom falls, that means the king also fallen. So those three kind of wife will bring the kingdom's destruction and the king's destruction. So it will literally destroy the king. So one should avoid such a queen, even if no matter how attractive and yeah, they look. So basically, in today's time, you are talking about a wife. So if we put relevance to what Nagarjuna was saying to that king, okay, they was talking about the king, the queen, and king. There's no king, no queen. I mean, there are some kings, but they don't have any power now. So what is the relevance with today's here? So the thing is that one should not be drawn by someone's appearance and status and all these things. When you try to when you propose to someone, when you try to marry someone, important to to look, to observe that your future wife doesn't have these three qualities. So the first one is enemy, right? Basically, that means a wife that actually wants to destroy you financially, mentally, emotionally. Some girls have very um, negative traits, nature, and they think very negatively. They have very bad intention, and then they usually split families. Create a division between brothers and between brothers, between families, between this and that, between the mother and the husband, etc. So someone who is really negative energy, that is something that you should avoid, no matter how beautiful and maybe influential or rich or attractive, no, doesn't matter. Make sure that she doesn't have such a quality like that. uh, that the first one, the destroy, that enemy one, the enemy wife. Yeah, the second one is someone who holds your husband in contempt, meaning uh, disrespect. So that is a very manipulative partner. So the wife. So I'm just saying wife because right now we are talking about this book is specifically for the king or the male, but the same thing can be replaced with for a woman. So if the same counsel, the same advice can be given to a woman, so a woman should look for a husband who is not manipulative, who is not bossy, who is not trying to destroy her, who is not eating her brain out, all this and that. So it goes back and forth. But anyway, Nagarjuna and Shantideva have a lot of critics from the female, from the women's side, because they always talk about these things, despite all the great teachings they have, especially like feminist, um, especially from the Western Sangha. They're really vocally critical of Nagarjuna and Shantideva, because they talk a lot of these things. And then they were regarded as being in contempt of women. But the thing is that their main target, to whom the advice is given, is a male. So therefore, from a male's perspective, you must watch out for women. From a woman's point of view, you must watch out for a man who has this kind of qualities. Yeah. So the second one is someone who disrespect, who is manipulative, all these things, and then uh, really, yeah, manipulative. Yeah, that kind of woman one should be careful of in today's time. The third one is the stealing, the thief wife. So basically, that is the kind of wife which does not contribute anything. Uh, so she just lazy, eats, doesn't do any work, doesn't do any work. That doesn't mean uh, she's not working, she's not going to an office or going to a market or anything, but she stays home, cooks. You know what? In today's time, they call it homemaker. If you are a homemaker, you are not lazy. You are doing a lot of things. The husband goes out to earn a livelihood, and the woman who stays home cooks and do all the thing. It's not easy to make everything clean, tidy, organized, everything. The housework is the work that is always unappreciated. When you do an office work, when you finish the files, you can show them, oh, it's finished. Whenever you do something, you can tell people that that the result is visible. But when you take care of your home, the results are not visible. And so always a lot of time homemakers, or in the past we call it housewife. Now you have to call it homemaker, political correctness. So anyway, so the wife who stays home and take care of the make cook food, wash the dishes, wash the linen, the clothes, everything. So very underappreciated. But it is such a strenuous, very difficult job. So someone who is doing that is not called lazy, okay? So when you say lazy, the wife who steals means a wife who I talk about the king, right? The wife who steals the king's precious time, presence from the public. Similarly, the wife who makes no contribution at all, the wife who just consumes, no contribution, only um, only taking, not giving. Okay, so that kind of wife is known as the thief wife or the stealing wife. So if you are a homemaker, if you are a housewife, if you're a homemaker, cook food, stay home, that doesn't mean you are lazy. That doesn't mean you are stealing your husband's time, because you divide the time. Either the wife goes to the office and the husband cooks and take care of the home, or the husband goes to the office and wife take care of home. Because one person has to stay home and take care of the kid, take care of the family, take care of this and that. So basically, your job is divided. So no one is better than the other. The husband cannot say, I'm earning the money, so I'm better than you. And the wife also cannot say, I'm cooking the food, so that's why I'm better than you. No one is better than each other. You are just equally dividing your responsibilities. So someone who does not do any of that, a wife who does not contribute, is a wife who's stealing. So that kind of wife, a lazy wife, should be avoided. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is the kind of wife that you should be avoiding. So, I think in the audience, it's all too late, huh? Good or bad, whatever it is, too late. Uh, uh, so, just joking, okay? Don't take it personally, whatever. It's a monk making joke about husband and wife, so he doesn't know anything. So, don't take it personally. I'm just joking. So, okay, the next verse is on what kind of wife someone should be adopting. I will read the Tibetan first. Singwa dabur jidyun kanyin da zamoshin da nyingla baba da mashin pembara tyotan chamoshin ongyur kanyin rigi lashin kururs. Okay, then I will read that English after this. Jokes aside, honestly speaking, I really I really admire people who non-monastic, not ordained family person, but then still dedicates time for the Dharma, because it's there's the burden or the responsibility is double. You have your family thing, and then you have to practice the Dharma. As a monk, you are just by yourself, single. And so whatever you want to do, you want to get up at the middle of the night and do some practice, go for Kora, whatever you want to do, you can do it. As a wife or a husband, you cannot get up in the middle of the night and say, I'm going for a Kora. That's very suspicious. So, it's not easy. And in generally speaking, as a family man, you have to work, you have to go to earn money, earn a livelihood, take care of your kid, which is a headache, and your husband, who is a headache, your wife, who is a headache, so many headache. On despite all this headache, you still have to you still dedicate time to practice the Dharma, which is admirable. As a monk, that's why for a Dharma practitioner, the best thing is to become a monk or a nun, because that way you all the distractions are automatically removed. But as a family person, you have all this distraction, all these triggers that are there. And despite having all those triggers, you still persevere, right? Go through like a brave warrior. And it's actually like a brave warrior. People people don't have to go to war zones to fight. A couple's life is like a war zone, you know. There's the honeymoon time, and after that, there's like a lot of war going on, clashes. So therefore, it's like a war zone. And despite all these things, you still practice. So I really admire, and I keep telling this to people often, and it just happened to be the topic today. So that's why I want to remind all of you that anyone who is married and has a partner, husband or a wife, and still dedicating time for the Dharma, really, really admire, really, really, I really respect. Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah. Okay, the 37, verse 37, what kind of wife to look for? Okay. A wife who looks like a sister, uh, a wife who like a sister follows you, affectionate like a true and loving friend. Hmm. So there's the first quality, a wife who is like a sister to you. Because the sister, the second quality is like a mother. The third quality is like a servant. So a wife that is like a sister, a mother, and a servant. Okay, so these are the three qualities that one
Yeah.
should look. Mm. So sisters, if they're younger sister, they look up to you. If they're elder sister, they look after you. So usually sisters, I mean, not 100% always true, but most of the time, when you have an elder sister, a younger brother has an elder sister, the sister is always caring and giving and look after the younger brothers. That is kind of universal. And because women in general have this motherly, affectionate side, because women, girls, are future mothers. So they have this capability to take care of people, to look after people, to have concern, because they're going to be mother someday, one day. And so therefore, even as a kid, they don't have a baby yet, but their younger brother becomes their sort of, um, baby. Um, uh, so they usually look after their and so the difference between a mother and a sister is that a mother loves and take care of you, but the mother is there's a generational gap. Usually a sister and a brother, they come from the same sort of generation, maybe 5 years difference, 10 years difference, that maximum. So when you have that thing, you can understand each other. Emotionally connect is there. With parents, the problem is even though your parents love you, you love your parents, but there is a generational gap, and therefore you don't understand each other completely. I mean, it's not always true that parents don't cannot understand their children's mindset. Some do, okay, but a lot of time because they belong to different generation. So there's the generational gap, and therefore they have a hard time understanding or hard time connecting, okay, syncing with the children's mindset. A sister can actually do that. So basically, the sister can give you emotional support. The mother can give you physical support. So there's the only difference between the mother and the sister here. So mother usually provides food for you, place to you to sleep, this and all everything. So mother is the provider. The sister is the listener. So a wife who is like a sister, a listener, emotional support. A wife who is like a mother, that is a provider, give food, give everything like that. So these two qualities one should look for. So the last one is a little bit controversial. Like you have to find a wife that is like a slave or servant. I don't know how I can defend Nagarjuna here. So actually, that is the third line. Affectionate like a true and loving friend, supportive like a mother, obedient like a maid, a servant, right? And then the fourth line actually supports. um, so a servant, right? So if she is like a sister, she is like she is the quality, she has the quality of a sister, qualities of a mother, and qualities of a servant, then okay, the last one, there's a twist. Then she must be treated like a servant, like a friend, like a sister or mother. No. If you find a woman who has those qualities, then that wife, that woman should be treated like a god. You see? So the last line, actually, the twist is that that shows that Nagarjuna is not disrespecting women here. And now we have to understand what he means by a servant, a maid. So there's a very fine line here anyway, but so the thing is that as a maid, so the maid has the responsibility to obey, to follow. Okay, the duty of the maid, the servant, is to follow the instruction of the employer, the boss. So here it actually has to do with some sort of the linguistic and cultural everything here, because in Indian language, the husband is called the pati. Pati means owner. So yeah, there may be some um, uh, sort of a misogynistic thing and here and there because of the society itself. But in any case, the husband is known as the pati or the owner, and so he is the householder is the owner of the house, the children, the wife, everything, but not in the sense owner as in on the master and the slave, but owner in the sense the husband has the overall responsibility of to taking care of or the well-being of the whole family, and the wife also has her duties to fulfill. And so her duty is to follow the instruction of the owner or the pati, which is the husband. Um, so pati literally means owner, the proprietor. So her husband is her pati, which means the owner, the possessor. So therefore, here what we have to think about is the king. As a king, so, provided that he is a good king, he's thinking for the well-being of the kingdom. In such cases, the king may give, how do you say, instructions for the queen to follow that the queen may not like. Sometimes maybe she has to sacrifice things, which is difficult. But because the king, okay, we are thinking in a very idealistic society and everything. So the king has the greater good of the people in mind. So therefore, the queen should also sacrifice for the greater good of the kingdom. Um, when the king give an instruction, the husband gives an instruction, the wife like a obedient servant should not question the husband and follow his instruction. So this is in matters of very emergency and important matters. On important matters, the wife should not question the husband and should follow the instruction of the husband because the husband has the greater picture in mind. Okay, so ideally speaking, that is what it is talking about. So the same goes in today's time. If the husband is talking for the greater good of the family, then the wife may have to sacrifice. Actually, when you say like, "Oh, the wife is to be treated like a maid," it sounds very bad. And if you tell any wife to do that, nobody wants going to do that. But in reality, wives always sacrifice, okay? They're always sacrificing. But if you tell them you are a maid, then they're going to get angry. They're going to say, okay, I'm not a maid, I'm not a servant. But they do sacrifice all the time, like maid, even though they don't want to be labeled as maid or servant, but they do sacrifice. And as a family, you both sacrifice. Husband sacrifice, wife sacrifice. And a lot of time, the wife sacrifice more. So anyway, that's going to be a big debate if I say this thing today. So let's put it there. And uh, uh, so, like a maid means to follow the husband without questioning on important matters. Because
Yeah.
husband is the pati or the owner. Okay. So the next chapter is on how to acquire knowledge, how to cultivate good characteristics to have a sound mind and sound body. So to be physically and mentally fit, what kind of behaviors one should be adopting. And so I'm thinking of stopping here for now, for today, and I will open up for Q&A. Meanwhile, as we wait for Q&A, we will read the Tara prayer. Remember, if I shared the Tara prayer the other day. Do you? Okay. I will share the screen. So I will do the 21 praise to the 21 Tara, the long one, and you can follow with me. Okay. And meanwhile, if you have questions, you can just prepare the questions, and then I will answer it right after this. Okay. Man ji zu ma pa man zhe ma lan cha ze lo chang ze zhe ma yun ma ba mo. Can you see?
Các quý vị đạo hữu có nhìn thấy không ạ? Yes, Rinpoche là.
Okay. Chang ze zhe ma yun ma ba mo. Jie ni ge ji lo dan zha ma. Ji den sum gun chu ge xie ge. Ke sa ra che wa le ne chung ma. Changze Dungen Dawa Gun Do Kanwa Yane Zegbe Shelema Karma Donja Tsoba Namangi Rabdo Chewe Vera Barama Changze Sengo Chune Ge Beme Chane Nambara Ge Mo Jimba Zunju Gado Shi Wa Soba Samde Chu Ni Changze Dijin Shekbe Zodor Taye Nambara Gelwa Jema Malu Baru Chimba Tobe Gelwe Sege Shindo Dema Changze Doda Rahong Yege Deda Choda Nanga Kama Jigden Dombo Shabye Nende Leba Mebara Gobara Nyema Changze Gaje Mela Tsamba Longla Nazo Wanju Che Ma Jombo Rolan Tesa Namanda Nujin Tsoye Dune De Ma Changze Jeje Chadam Peki Paru Chungura Rabdo Joma Ye Goma Yunyan Shabye Nende Mebara Chokba Shindo Baram Changze Dure Jigba Chenbo Dege Bawa Nambara Choma Chuge Shilne Choni Rendenze Zhawo Tamje Malu Sema Changze Gunjo Sumzen Chagi Sume Togara Nambara Gema Malu Choge Kolo Gembe Rangi Wege Tsonama Choma Changze Rabdo Gawa Jebe Ogen Wege Chanwa Pelema Sheba Rabje Doda Ra Ye Toda Jigden Wangdo Zema Changzele Sashi Kyongwe Tso Nama Tamje Gukbar Numa Nyema Chonyere Yowe Yege Homonge Pongba Tamje Nambara Jelema Changze Dawe Dumbo Ogen Gemba Tamje Shindo Barama Rebe Chele Ba Mele Takbara Shindo Vera Zema Changze Kalbe Tarme Me Tara Barbe Chene Wene Nema Yejan Yungomo Gune Gora Ge Chaye Bone Nambara Choma Changze Sashi Ngwela Cha Ye Telge Nunjin Shabge Doma Chonyere Jenze Yige Homonge Remba Dombo Namne Kema Changze Dema Gema Shema Nyangen Deshi Ju Nyema Soha Omdan Yangda Dembe Dikba Chenbo Chomba Nyema Changze Gune Korab Gawe Chaye Lune Nambara Gema Yige Jube Ngani Gube Rigba Homle Juma Nyema Changze Dure Shabni Dawe Humgie Nabe Sabe Nima Jira Menda Radam Bi Je Jigde Sumna Yowa Nima Changze Laye Tsone Nambe Rida Je Chadan Nama Tara Nije Pege Yege Tona Malu Bane Sema Chanze Laye Tsonam Gele Bo Lada Miam Ji Dema Gwene Goja Gawa Ji Ge Zeda Melam Nyemba Sema Chanze Nima Dawa Ge Be Jenye Be La Vera Sema Hara Nije Duda Ra Ye Shendo Chabe Rimne Sema Changze Dini Sumna Ge Be Shewe Todan Yangda Dema Denda Rola Nujin Tso Nama Chomba Ture Rabjo Nima Tsawe Ngagi Deba De Dan Changze Wani Nishu Zaji. That concludes the the Tara prayer. I cannot check. Do you see any questions? Okay, there's no question yet.
Yeah, no question, no far Rinpoche là.
Okay, so I will just recite the following. So that is the benefits of the reciting the Tara prayer. Okay. So you know Tara is very powerful. So helpful, benefit, blessing, protection, to give protection, give love, give though if you are facing difficulty, obstacles, it clears those things. Yeah. So if you have problem yourself, you can pray for that. If it not, you can pray for the world, pray for everybody who's suffering, etc. Okay. Lamo lagu yangda denbe loden kangi rabdan chude suedan toran langbara chene chenbe meji tamje rabde debo tamje rabdo shije ngenro tamje chomba nyi gewa jewa chadu namgi nyurdo wangne korwara ngyola Dile chewa nini topjin sanye kobang tardo tedo Di doni chabo chenpo dene pama shinyanjo Seba tani tongba nidyan chenpe rabdo sewa nidom Dendang rimdang dogi sirve dongi tsone nambara bangde Semjin shenpa namla yango Ni sumo dundo ngambara jena. Now the benefits you can see there. If you read English, you can see. But yeah, some other day I will explain what the benefits are. You can recite just English. Yeah.
Yeah. Quý vị nhìn vào bản tiếng Anh thì quý vị có thể thấy được tất cả những cái lợi lạc của cái việc là trì tụng cái bài lễ tán 21 độ mẫu Tara này. Buổi nào mà có thời gian thì thầy sẽ giải thích về tất cả những cái nội dung này là Sonibuche là.
Bode bene podo gyurchin node bene nona mido deba tamje tobara gyola gena mejin soso jom gyuruji. This is spoken by the Buddha himself as the praise. This is the benefit of reciting the 21 Tara prayer. Remember the prayer that we shared last week? That is by Tara herself. It is the short version of the 21 praise to 21 Tara. The praise to the 21 Tara itself is spoken by the Buddha, and the benefits of reciting the praise to the 21 Tara is also spoken by the Buddha himself. Yeah. Omdare dudare dure zomdare 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 dudare dure omdare dudare dure zomdare 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 dudare dure Umdara dudara dure zomdara 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 dudara dure Omdare dudare dure zoha jesuyon pama jomadan çocuğu tüsüm şubaya gevası jetamcıra günetamaya çekiyor metodu ve mamire şese roma laso ve maşem yece cüne ve pamya sonamış tamamen tadepa migecu lan sana nasıl menyu ama gibi tiba tamca şabar gene diyorum geçin 좀 수도ki wa laso bu tüsüm gevaçı saposun namlan ya da yana simcenam geç lo yeçera çda o çocuğun tümün tewa çocuğu holo kodosu kovaçısı madan yengemeden tojedo nyemdo çon simcen naması suda geçonam biz tam제 창조 교인들은 원면도 좋아해 잼베베 또다 교로지 제전 좀 계고 진다는 고단 고세세다 신감도 교제 천조성 버진 된다 코너로 다소 교로 쇼 결라 되진 소하다 다소 한도 네베 사주도 내도 일본 탑조 쇼와다 저단 자시 배워 제도스 okay so I think conclude here we will go to the dedication now yeah Gewa di nyurdo da lama sangye chubgyurun jowa che kyang ma le ba kege sala ge bara sho changjo semjo rembo che ma ge pa nam ge gyuro chik ge ba nyam ba me bara kone kondo pe wara sho mi men ze ve de jen Jerezi Chemen Kembe One boy Jambe ya De boy my lu Jomon Ze Sang Wenda Kanji Kembe Zu Gen Zong Kamba Lo San Cha Shai Lai Soi Wan Loi Sai Chai Be Shai Lai So Wan Den Tembe Nimbo Tsimbe Benga Shing Naman Do Yu Gun La Chang Chu Be Lao Sang Chue Ye Gyam Zue Cho Gun Do Chen Ge Do Jen Tam So Wan De
Thank you, Chela.
Thank you, Chuan. Yeah,
Cảm
thank you.
cảm
Chị
ơn tất
cảm
cả
ơn.
em ạ. Cả nhà mình ạ.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much Rinpoche La. Thank you very much Rinpoche La.
Thank you so much,
Xin
everyone.
cảm ơn chị Oanh và cảm ơn các bạn Hiếu ạ.
Xin cảm ơn. Yeah.
Cảm ơn.
Thầy nói tiếng Việt đấy ạ. Xin cảm ơn Rinpoche La.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Cảm ơn
You have a good weekend. Yeah. Bye bye.